No. All right. I'm gonna trade you 2 sheep for that wood. Tell me, honey, does that sound good? 'Cause all I really wanna do is take away longest road from you, yeah. Welcome to these tabletop sessions. Welcome to these tabletop sessions. Hello, fellow gregarious geeks and gamers, and welcome to a very special 50th episode of the Tabletop Sessions podcast. This is your monthly dose of tabletop gaming stories and shenanigans. Usually, now it's a top 50 list for the meantime. My name is Elias, and with me today, celebrating his 50th birthday, which is definitely today, it's the man, the myth, the legend, the man who can play all 5 positions. That'll take you 5-0 in whatever game you want. It's Hippocrates.
Hello, everybody.
And back in the building after so long, it's the phenomenal, fantastic, fight you in a game for attacking her, far from 50, Dima.
Hello, everyone. And now we have the game show of the week.
No. Although truth be told, that's the part I missed the most from having you. I really
me too.
Game show of the week. That was my favorite part of this podcast, and you took it away by leaving, because I can't just make a game show for Ipo every month. That would be weird.
I'm sorry, I got everyone's hopes up.
Yeah, you broke my heart a little bit, but that's fine. We're so sorry for being. We're so sorry for being late on this episode. We actually were on a trip for 18 days where we saw Ipo in Greece. We saw some friends, Ricardo Filipa in Portugal. We went to Geneva where I met Dima's high school friends who told us all sorts of stories, such as when she recommended that for their senior project they create an actual hurricane. Or was it tornado? An actual tornado. That was their project. And then she ditched halfway through the year and moved to Canada. So never had to follow through on this idea that they submitted officially for their group. Anyway, moving on from there, we came back. I was swamped with work. I had 2 projects on very tight deadlines. And basically to get them done, I had to sacrifice recording the podcast. So it's completely on me. But here we are. And we're ready to start recording. And thank you to Ipo for his infinite patience with rescheduling this 3 times or so we could get this done. So thank you, Ipo. Appreciate you.
No, thanks to our listeners for having the patience to wait for this. And it's going to be legendary.
Okay.
I mean, you can only have a 50th episode once.
That's true. This is definitely not our 50th, by the way, because we had a few like episode 3.5 an episode. And then we had some like in between episodes. So this is like our 54th or 55th. But
no
okay.
way.
Yeah, I'm telling
okay.
you.
Okay, we're not counting in decimals.
Only whole numbers.
All right, let me just remind everyone what we're doing today. We've been doing our top 50 games of all time. That's been me and Ipo made a list of our top 60 games. We took all that, we put them in a list, and we submitted it to Dima, so we didn't see each other's lists. And then Dima combined them using a mythical score system that we can barely understand with our brains put together, and she presented them back to us at 10 at a time. So for episode 47, she gave us our 50 to 41. For episode 48, she gave us our 40 to 31. And for episode 49, she gave us our 30 to 21. And now, without having seen our top 20, both Ipo and I still haven't seen it. And Dima is here to present them to us. And we're going to react to them as they go ahead. That's just a quick reminder. But before we get into that, we had some ties. And we promised you a Dima tiebreaker. So Dima, I'm about to present you with some ties. Now, you can make your decision right away, or you can ask me or Ipo to defend one of them. And we'll be more than happy to. There's quite a few ties from 50 to 21. So we're going to go through them and you're going to give us your idea. We're starting from the first tie, which was the tie for 49, which is a tie between Wavelength and Tashkalar.
Okay, so before we get into that conversation, I have a few questions I need to ask Ipo about party games and the relationship between party games and gamers. So, Ipo, let's say you meet someone at work and you're sharing your hobbies and you tell them that you are a board gamer, avid board gamer, and they say, "Me too. I love board games. Me and my friends, we play Cards Against Humanity and Code Names and Taboo." And so I just wanted to know from your perspective, would you consider this person a board gamer? Someone who hasn't sat through someone who hasn't sat through a game that takes more than 2 minutes to explain.
Okay, first of all, this is a fictional story. This have never happened to me. I mean, nobody in my work environment ever came to me. I'm too afraid, to be honest, to say that I'm an avid board gamer in my work environment. I feel people will look at me and I will be weirdly and I will be embarrassed. But
how judgmental are engineers?
Maybe it's me. I don't know. I don't want to judge. But if this happens, I will be very happy. And definitely I will consider this person a board gamer, of course. Board gamer is a very broad definition. And at some point, all of us, we were at that point.
I agree with Ipo. It's trying to put people in boxes and making them feel like they're not as much of a gamer as you is very 1990s. I feel like we're past that at this point.
So I'm just going to share that based on that criteria of excluding party games as being fit to be in a top 50, party games have automatically gotten second in the ties. So when we look at Wavelength versus Tashkalar, I couldn't give it to Wavelength. And Ipo, I loved your story, great experiences, all feelings, happy. But if it's going to be in my personal top 50, I feel like it needs to go beyond having fun that night. I feel like I need strategy. I need more meat in the game. It needs to give me more than we're all having fun and it's a light night of fillers. And that's my personal preference.
Whilst I disagreed with Dima's judgmentalness in the beginning, I agree with her evaluation of party games making the top 50. Like, it takes something extraordinary to make it into the top 50, just because, like, as a party game, it automatically for me has a cap of like how good it can be, because it doesn't tap into certain parts of the brain. So so I disagree with Dima and then also agree with Dima. So there you go. Tashkalar is the winner of that tiebreaker.
That's a very interesting conversation that we open now. So there are party games, like we don't have so many party games, I guess, in this top 50. I don't know. Maybe,
just the ones you put.
Yeah, maybe 4 or 5. But I believe it's equally difficult for a designer to make a good party game as it is to make a heavy game.
Agreed. And if we were ranking best designed board games, you could definitely make that argument. But in my evaluation, how hard it was for the designer to do it has nothing to do with if it makes my top 50 or not.
I agree. So the point would be, do I want this game in my collection, basically?
Yes, agreed.
Agreed. Yes. So I think Wavelength should definitely been my collection before Tascalar. Okay, Tascalar was not in my top 50 anyways. And if this is your criteria too, Dima, I totally respect it.
Yes, Dima is shaming, Ipo is shaming Dima using inclusion, whereas Dima is clearly a snob, apparently.
I mean, Dima, would you have a party board game in your collection? If you make a collection of 50 games, would you have a party game in it?
I would, and I love party games. Let's just be clear. I love party games, all kinds of party games. It's just, they wouldn't
but they're
make
always
the
inferior
cut for me to be in my top 50. They do fit in the filler category. Like if I have an itch to play board games and we played party games all night, I don't feel like it would scratch the itch. I would have an amazing time, so much fun, lots of stories, but I would still have that itch to play a board game like where there's strategy, where I have to think through like my turn, and even if it's a light Euro or anything that's just has a little more substance than, yeah.
I want to say this conversation is very interesting, but at the same time, the whole concept of top 50 games doesn't make sense anyways, but we're still doing it, so yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
so yeah, what
It's
does
also
it
the
mean?
difference between create a 50 game collection versus your top 50 games. Like, yes,
Exactly,
absolutely,
yeah.
there would be party games in my collection. Are there 50 games I like more than like Wavelength? Yes, without a doubt. So, or I think are better than Wavelength. Yes, I think there are 50 games that are better than Wavelength. So,
But also, like, Ipo's a different kind of board gamer. Like, Ipo, I still remember when we first met him and we went to his place and we played that steampunk game. And then afterwards, he had like a bunch of people come over, and then we didn't stay, but they played Avalon like 17 times in a row that night. And to him, like, that was the best night ever. I don't think I could do that, play a game 17 times in a row, but
no.
That's like, Ipo loves doing that, and to him that's a great night and a great game that's replayable. So it's definitely personal differences.
It was City of Iron, the game we played at Ipo's place.
Yeah.
All right. That was a great conversation. I did not expect all that from just the one tiebreaker, and we have a lot more to go. So let's go on to the next tiebreaker, which is the tie for 43. It was a tie between two games that are basically 1v1s. It was Twilight Struggle versus War of the Ring 2nd edition, or just War of the Ring. And Dima, what's your thoughts on this?
So I'm pretty sure in terms of like board game design and how can I put this? Like beautiful design, like Twilight Struggle would win. Me personally, I don't take it well when it's 1v1, where in order for one person to win, the other person needs to take great losses. So I based on that, I picked War of the Ring, because at least you can play War of the Ring
because you can play team based.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, and it's a little more fun, and it's not so personal and trying on your personal motivation.
It's funny that I am like you in that respect. I have a problem with 1v1 games, and last week we had here in Qatar a day playing chess. So we meet we were like 20 people, and I was feeling weird both when I was winning and when I was losing. I think maybe I have lost this ability to play 1v1 and don't think about the other person's feelings about the game, because all of the people were amazing. I'm not saying that they were weird. I was the weird, I think. But I think, yes, I think now I'm feeling that thing. And I think that says a lot. Me putting the Twilight Struggle, which is 1v1, in this top 50 says a lot about the game, I think.
I think people who put any valuation of themselves in store in a 1v1 game need to have like a better confidence in themselves, because it's a
Excuse
game
me?
and like everything else, like it depends on the the scenario, the experience level, the how it meshes with the way that you think. Like what I love playing 1v1 against you, Ipo, is when we'd play a few acres of snow. Sometimes I'd win, sometimes you'd win, but I never felt like at any point like, oh look, I'm whooping Ipo's, or I never felt like Ipo's thinking like he's better at me at the game. Like it just felt like we played a game, we both had a nice time. Somebody has to win, somebody has to lose. But it's about wanting to play the game and play the game and explore the game. And I always felt that with you at Sekigahara and A Few Acres of Snow and all the different 1v1 games we played. Whereas sometimes with Dima or with Byron or even some other people, like I felt like they put their they measured themselves by the game somewhat, and that kind of like made them take things personally. Whereas this game doesn't mean that I'm better than you at anything. This means that I beat you at this game this time. If we play it again, things might be flipped on its head. It's like circumstantial card draws, strategy. I picked a better strategy, whatever it is. Like, I don't know. I like playing 1v1 against you. So I hope it's not true that you've lost it, because you were one of my favorite people to play 1v1 against. So, and Dima will not play 1v1 war games with me. So,
And maybe
I
it
still need
depends
friends that will.
how butthurt the person you're playing against gets, and maybe that
Maybe.
impacts Ipo. Like he doesn't want the person to have such a bad time.
All right. So let's jump on to the next tie, which was actually the very next one, tied for 41. We had a tie between Dead of Winter, a Crossroads game, and Pax Viking. Dima.
So I've never played Pax Viking, and I'm
Yes,
not.
you have.
What?
You played it with
Oh.
me and Mo and Erica. Like this
And you
year.
don't even remember that game.
Yes, that was very memorable. Yes. Either way, I had such a terrible time playing Dead of Winter. I only played it once, and I fell asleep halfway through the game, and the group just kept on playing without me. Not that it's a first, me sleeping at the table while we're playing a board game. I'm really terrible at staying awake at night. But the joke is you wouldn't catch me dead playing Dead of Winter again. So based on that experience, I gave it to Pax Viking. Having remembered now, thank you, Elias, for reminding me, to me, it's a better game. In general, like Pandemic, Dead of Winter, co-ops that are tactical without having like a bigger sort of adventure story behind it where you're building your character, you feel like you're in this world. If it's co-op, I really need like a personal story and then feeling like I'm on this big adventure. If it's like
sort of like
the story
Gloomhaven or
if the
that
story
sort of
isn't
thing.
built out, I lose interest. So
like if it's just from cards from a draw pile, then you
Yeah.
start to get a bit, okay. All right.
So this one goes to Pax Viking.
Now that you've locked that in and can't change it, I'm 70% sure you fell asleep during PAX Viking. Anyway, moving on to the next one. Your next tie was for number 39. It was between the 3-player GMT masterpiece Vijayanagra and the party game, The Crypto. Your thoughts?
I can't with these party games.
You're giving
As
it
the
to
tiebreaker-
Vijayanagra.
Yeah, so it doesn't go to Decrypto. That's what I'm going to say.
I'm shocked. That's the first one I predicted wrong of what you were going to pick. So because I remember you quite loving Decrypto.
I love.
So that's great.
I do.
I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled. I'm just saying. All right.
And I don't think Vijaya Nagra would make. Maybe it would make my. I don't think it would make my top 50 personally, but Decrypto would definitely not. So it would be far off. It would be in a separate list of top 50 party games.
Moving forward, surely top 10 party games. Anyway, moving forward to the next tie at number 37, we have Puerto Rico and the game it inspired, Twilight Imperium. This one has no party games. Let's hear the choice.
So this one, I loved Ipo's comment about value for time. I'm definitely going to take that away, where sometimes when games are long, it is rough when you don't feel like you have a winning chance. For me personally, Twilight Imperium is an epic long game that I really love playing. And as I really like Puerto Rico as well. It's very replayable, enjoy it every time. But when it comes to top 50 epic games, like Twilight Imperium takes this one.
Wonderful. While I go to the next tie. Oh, here's the next tie. How are you feeling, Ipo, now that she's picked my side on everything?
Yes, I think it was my idea for Dima to resolve the ties. So I blame myself.
All right, so tied for number 32. We had a tie between Pandemic Legacy Season 1 and Gloomhaven. Sorry. It's Gloomhaven, Frosthaven, or any Pandemic Legacy. That's kind of
Yeah, and it's the same thing that I said around Dead of Winter. Like, I liked Pandemic. I've never played Pandemic Legacy, but I don't feel like, from the descriptions you gave, that there's this...
That's a biased description. That's a bad biased description. There is a story. That's on me. I take full...
Ipo, do you want to walk us through the story aspect of Pandemic Legacy?
No, I just want to say it's the first Legacy game ever made, and...
Not true. Risk Legacy was before Pandemic Legacy.
You're right. It's the first Legacy game that made a huge impact in the market, maybe. And I think Ailes is probably right when he says that I have not played Gloomhaven too much, but I believe Gloomhaven came like years later, so it should be better, story-wise.
But it's a different kind of co-op game.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I don't think Pandemic Legacy, it's about the story.
Yeah.
It was about the concept of a legacy game. That was what made us excited about it.
Yes. And ultimately, the problem I had with Pandemic Legacy was ultimately it was just kind of like Pandemic over and over and over again. Gloomhaven is the same, but Gloomhaven, your character grows significantly more than your character upgrades in Pandemic. And because it's so complicated to learn how to play a character, it's impossible to quarterback Gloomhaven. Like, I can't tell you what to do because I don't understand your character. So you always are going to really decide what you're going to do. Whereas my experience with Pandemic Legacy was a lot of quarterbacking and telling us what to do. So
yeah,
that's a shout out, Ricardo. Yeah. I love you, buddy.
Yeah, that can happen 100% in Pandemic.
Yeah. Okay, great. So Gloomhaven wins that tie. Let's keep going. We have another tie here. For number 28, there was a tie. Ooh, you've not played this one. There was a tie between Sekigahara and Hegemony.
So, Ipo, I'm going to give you this one. Even though I've never played Hegemony, I really, really want to play it. Honestly, you sold our whole board game group on it. I think two people already bought it in our group after your reviews. Sekigahara was a beautifully designed game. It's still 1v1, and I was hurt when I lost. So, but regardless of that, hegemony sounds amazing, and I'd love to play it. So
I
I'm
also
giving it a higher
correctly
ranking.
predicted you'd do that, so I had you breaking in favor of hegemony. All right, moving on to the next tie for 26. We had a tie between 1830 and Mage Knight by Vladach Vatil.
I wanted to say something. I wanted to say something about Sekigahara, basically. That after visiting Japan, I really want to play Sekigahara now. Like I've read some books about the history of Japan, and we never had the opportunity to play the physical copy. So I really
I
wanted to play
did
that.
many times.
Yeah,
Me and you
I
only
didn't.
played online. Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
I think you just
it's a
made
wonderful
Elias's
game.
day.
You did. I'm gonna fly to Doha so we can play Sekigahara. All right, yeah. So moving on to that tie for 26, it was a tie between 1830 and Mage Knight.
Or basically
So this one,
all the 18xx games.
No.
so this one honestly was a tough one because all three of us have played Mage Knight, and only Ipo's played 1830. Elias, you ranked Mage Knight number 6 and Ipo 1830 number 5 in your top 50. So Mage Knight.
So how did they tie?
Oh.
It sounds like you did
Because-
something wrong, Dima.
No, it's because Dima is using the relativity formula, so takes into consideration the gravity
Wait a
of the game.
Wait, it's too late now. I can't go back and undo the last 3 episodes. Oh no, Dima.
Okay,
No
let me
worries.
go back and
Let's-
check after this episode.
After
Yeah.
the episode. All right.
Yeah.
You can
So-
cut that piece out.
Yeah,
Nope,
we'll cut
it's
it
Okay.
off.
staying out. It's staying.
No, the listeners don't need to know that we are
They do.
Like-
They do.
we-
Our incompetence level matters.
the algebra.
1830 versus Mage Knight. Do you want to tell us your thoughts?
So, Mage Knight, 2 players, great game. More than 2 players, I struggled with it, and either fell asleep or backed out of the game. 1830, given that it's an 18xx, and personally, I've had amazing experiences with all the 18xx's I've played so far. I'm giving it to 1830.
That hurts my feelings, first of all. But secondly, your criticism of Mage Knight is that when it's more than 2, it's as long as 1830. That's your criticism of Mage Knight. 1830 is always a full day game. Mage Knight can be less than a full day game. And your criticism of Mage Knight is that if you have full count of players, it's as long and annoying as 18xx. Look, 18xx is 80% a perfect game and 20% trash, the last 20%, where you're just running, repeating. So Mage Knight is 99% a perfect game. I will go to the mat and fight on this one. There is just, all right, whatever. All right.
I
think
personally,
she's
I
saying
wouldn't
that with
rate
3
Mage
players is
Knight,
too long.
and personally, I
So
wouldn't
it's just
rate Mage
annoying.
Knight that high. But
Okay.
Get out of my
personal
house.
preference.
Also, I wanted to add that for 1830, I have made an amazing Excel sheet
Oh, bother.
that makes this 20% of shit. Or
Okay,
like
after
boring,
hearing that, Dima, can we please downgrade 1830?
makes it very fast.
Oh, all right, fine.
Okay, so
All right, let's move.
I have a correction to make.
Uh-oh.
You both ranked them at 5.
Okay.
Oh,
that makes more
okay,
sense.
So the row it
makes
was
sense.
on your tracker, Elias, was 6, and
Oh,
it's
gotcha.
5.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, and now the last tie before I'll run down all of these and we'll jump into the top 20. Both are number 1 games of all time. Blood on the Clock Tower versus Virgin Queen. Just remember that we're married and we've shared a long, beautiful life together. And don't let that bias you at all. But just remember that when you make this choice.
And remember that Blood on the Clock Tower is not a party game. It's much more than that.
So, but you know what? Your last review of the game, it intrigued my interest. Personally, I don't like hidden identity games. It gives me a lot of anxiety. And I've had bad experiences where my husband throws me under the bus before the game even starts.
What wasn't me?
And
It was her.
people
It was her
believe
last
him.
husband.
But because of that, I picked Virgin Queen. Like,
Oh, thank God. Marriage
Yeah,
can continue.
As much as I want to support Blood on the Clock Tower, that's a very valid criticism, and there are people that they're feeling this anxiety, especially if they belong to the evil team and they have to lie and pretend they're something else, and the game is not for them.
Like in the last game of Station Fall, I was actively sabotaging like my own mission just to throw people off my tail. And I think I overdid it, and people were just like, if she is this person, it wouldn't make any sense that she's like sabotaging it this much. So I don't know, you know how, what's that show where Winston just takes the joke too far?
New Girl.
New Girl. I feel like that's how I am with hidden identity. I don't know when to stop playing the part or not playing the part, and it's to my own detriment.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's go through the rankings now from 50 to 21. I'm going to run through them really quick. First, going downwards from 50 to 41, Wavelength, Teshkalar, In the Year of the Dragon, Small City, The Seventh Continent, Brass Birmingham, Twilight Struggle, War of the Ring, Dead of Winter, Pax Viking. And now, moving on to the next batch from rank 30 to rank 21. Sorry, from rank 40 to rank 31. We have Decrypto, Vijayanagra, Puerto Rico, Twilight Imperium, Stationfall, Arkwright, Inish, Pandemic Legacy Season 1, Gloomhaven / Frosthaven, Le Havre. And then moving on to our 30 to 21, we have The Great Zimbabwe, Sekigahara, The Unification of Japan, Hegemony, Lead Your Class to Victory, Mage Knight Board Game, 1830, Railways and Robber Barons, Blood on the Clock Tower, Virgin Queen, Three Kingdoms Redux, Pericles, The Peloponnesian Wars, and Detective City of Angels. A round of applause for these wonderful games. I think they all deserve to be here, except maybe Wavelength. But let's move into our top 20 games of all time, which we don't know, and only Dima has control of. So without any further, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the top 20 games in our top 50 games of all time.
Yoo-hoo!
Okay.
I always love
before
the
you go
fake enthusiasm. I missed that very much from when we had 4 hosts on this podcast. Shout out Byron.
Okay, so in number 20.
It's legit.
Yes.
It was legit enthusiasm. I'm so excited.
So Ipo, just for you, I looked up all these games, Board Game Geek rankings, just because I knew that was very important to you, even though Elias doesn't care. So
now I am excited.
So in 20, this game ranked 41 on BGG. It's a light-hearted, fun racing game where, most importantly, you can get your picture taken at the curb.
Wow, heat.
Oh, heat.
Yeah. So you know what's funny? How realistic that taking your picture at the curb is? Because this morning we were watching Italian Grand Prix, and Charles Leclerc, who was a Ferrari driver, was in first. And when they were interviewing him in the end, he was saying that the last 3 laps, he couldn't focus on the road because he just kept looking at the bleachers and people and all the crowds like cheering him on. And I was like, wow, that is so shallow and hilarious. And it's totally part of the sport. So that's how authentic the game is.
Heat's a great
Amazing.
game. I wasn't like particularly excited about it just because, it's a racing game. My experiences with racing games have been lukewarm at best. But this game, I think, takes the simplicity that they perfected from Flamme Rouge, but it adds a little more to it to be a little more engaging for somebody who doesn't like sort of introductory games. And I think they kind of made, for now, the best racing game I've ever played. And also one of the best sort of medium to light games. Like I could teach my 12-year-old nephew this game and he'd have a ball playing it because he loves racing. And I actually wanted to pick him up a copy and just couldn't find a copy because it was sold out everywhere because it's so popular. So one of those few times that I agree with the masses, but Heat is genuinely excellent.
Hands down, yeah, one of the best, if not the best racing game. And they managed to do this thing where there is a catch-up mechanism, but it's not very obvious. And at the same time, the concept is very easy to follow, but you can also strategize. I mean, it's really balanced. And yeah, I think I love this game.
Okay. So that's Heat Pedal to the Metal in number 20. So number 19.
Dima, what was in our, should I ask, what was in our ranking, Heat?
So yours was 28 and Elias was 48.
All right.
Sounds like you like it a little more than I do.
A lot more. A lot more.
No, it's not a lot more. I mean, all 50 games, I think, all 60 games were amazing games.
All right.
Okay, so this next game surprised me that it landed in the top 20. It's ranked 561 in Board Game Geek, and it's about convincing the Shadow Council that you would be the best chancellor of the university.
Oh,
Argent the Consortium.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, especially that we don't table it often. So
Yeah, but it's great. I'm really happy to hear that it made the top 20. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Ipo, where did it land for each of us? Do you know?
41 for you and 34 for Ipo.
Again, Ipo likes it more than I do, or he's played less games. But
no, you know what happened? We played it together twice, like 7-8 years ago. And then I played it last year with AK. And I remembered I had an excellent time playing it with you guys. And I was thinking, nostalgia comes in place in your brain when you try to remember if a game is good or not. So I remember it was an excellent experience, but I was thinking probably it was not such a good game as I remember. And then I played again with AK and some other friends, and it's amazing. And it's still very good. And we had an excellent time, and we again played it twice. So this is the reason
it's great. The reason it ranks so high up for me, other than the fact that it's a really deep, heavy game that has so much variability that even though it's worker placement, it's not like sort of like Uwe Rosenberg style worker placement is just the same worker placement spots every time. This game's different, but the reason that it always got the nod from me that put it above other worker placement games is because you don't know the scoring, because the scoring is literally, it's part of that theme. There's the 10 consortium members and they're each going to give value to something else. And you know some of them, but not all of them. So you're trying to figure out what other people are valuing, because based on their knowledge of the members of the consortium, they're going to try to score that, and then you're going to try to score that. So I really like that aspect of it. It's, you have to pay attention to other people and then adapt your strategy accordingly. So really terrific game. Highly recommend. I still think, even though I like Millennium Blades and stuff, I still think best game level 99 is done. And I'm really happy to see it in the top 20. So nice.
Definitely surprising. But yes, happy that it's
Dima,
very
feel free to give your
personalized.
thoughts on these games. You've played both of these games so far. Like, yeah.
I think for me, Arjun, I'm surprised how high it's landed for both of you, given that we don't table it that often. Like for something that's ranking this high, you'd think we'd bring it more to the table. But
Well, I do. I take it all the time to, like, when we go to the cottage, both years, the last 2 years, I've taken it, but it just doesn't get played. Yeah. But I want to play it. So anytime.
Also, it's because we don't have enough cottage time. So this year we're going for an extra day.
That's true. That's true.
Also, you play 180
if you want to come to,
Canada.
If you want to come to Canada, we can probably fit you in on a couch somewhere in the cottage.
I do want to come to Canada and sleep on a couch.
Then you're more than welcome.
Okay, in 18th place, this is a classic. It's ranked 29th on BGG, so it's pretty much a favorite for a lot of people. It is about terraforming land and joining cults, and there have been many iterations of this game using different themes. Yeah.
Very
I was
cool.
surprised by the BGG ranking. 29 is high for a game that's this old.
Yeah, it's a terrific game, obviously. And one of my absolute favorites. Recently, I played Age of Innovation, which should have been called Terra Mystica 2nd edition. Like, it's Terra Mystica with like a little bit extra, and I liked it a little more because it has variability. And also, I have to say that now because I spilled a beer on it, so I can't trade that one. So I have to trade Terra Mystica out because it doesn't make sense to keep both of them. They're the same game, so I have to pick a favorite. So that favorite has now become Age of Innovation. But if you have Terra Mystica, you have 95% of the game of Age of Innovation. And it's still, in my heart, always going to be a game that makes me feel a certain type of way, because for some reason I bought it at the same time that I bought all my first games. So like Takinoko, Catan, Ticket to Ride, and then Terra Mystica. And eventually we played it, and I was like, oh my God, this is what games can be. And that really like changed my whole sort of perspective. So there's a lot of nostalgia attached to it for sure, but I love it. So.
This is when we realized we were real gamers.
Oh, Dima. With the judgment.
And Terra Mystica has so many mechanisms and stuff that other games copied later on. And we played it a lot, and then we started playing it in online in Board Game Arena. And playing it a lot, you see the depth of the strategy and the alternative ways you can play the game and the different factions. There's so many things in this game that are going on. And sometimes this is the reason that you need to play a game 17 times, Dima, to enjoy the depth of the game. Because if you play Terra Mystica once or twice, you have no idea what's the game, I think.
And I have a question, because I know this probably ranked really high for me, so I was wondering where it ranked for both of us.
U16, EPO 58.
Oof.
Oh.
EPO. Oof.
Again,
EPO.
all my 60 games, I don't feel there's a huge difference between number 1 and number 60. I feel all of them are amazing games.
Because you had to make space for the party games.
But for sure, Wavelength is better than Terra Mystica.
Get out. I'm going to drop you on this podcast so fast.
As soon as
What's
I
the
said that
opposite
phrase,
of veto?
I realized it doesn't make sense.
How can I double endorse your vote to kick people off the podcast?
No, I'm gonna go back to my previous statement that all of the 60 games I voted are amazing, more or less
right.
equally
Good for
amazing.
you, Ipo. Stand up for yourself. Okay.
No, good for the games, not for me.
In 17th, this was one of our group's favorites for a long while. It's a different kind of race game. And this is where you're trying to finance, build, and run railways in the American Midwest.
Oh, 1830.
1846.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, 1846. Sorry. They just get.
1846 was like the biggest rave for the longest time in our group. Everyone was obsessing over it.
Here's the funny thing about it. This will be the highest ranked 18xx on this list, but for me, it is like the third or fourth best 18xx. And I think for Ipo, he probably prefers a couple over this as well. And I think the difference is we just really haven't played any of the same ones. Like we played 1880 China and Shikoku, was it 1883? I can't remember these dates, but those are my favorite too. And for Ipo, I'm sure it's like 1830, maybe something else. So because of that, because this is the common denominator, it gets pushed to the top. But I would say that if you are trying to get into 18xx, it is one of the best intros to 18xx, and it was for our group, and it got me into 18xx, Ipo into 18xx, Ricardo into 18xx, Dima into 18xx, everyone in our group into 18xx, Basil. And then, since then, we played 18xx with our group here, and now Carol started collecting 18xx, Chang started getting 18xx, so it's like, it is the ultimate 18xx gateway, so I respect it enough to be here. It's not the best, but it's certainly one of the best starting points, and you won't be disappointed. It'll give you all the aspects of 18xx you want to taste of are in this game. So, really good stuff. 1846, the race to the Midwest.
I have nothing to add. I think what Elias said is exactly what I wanted to say. That it's there because I feel it's the best entry to the 18xx world. And also the production is very good compared to 18xx, at least at that time that you got 1846. Now, I think 18xx games are getting better and better.
Yeah.
But at that time, it was like friendly and smooth.
Yeah.
And
it was GMT, so it was at least like solid, if not beautiful, solid. Back then, it was like terrible cardstock, horrible boards, a lot of print and play stuff. Now there's been a couple companies that have opened up that have focused on 18xx, and they've done a tremendous job with the production. But yeah, I agree. It was one of the easier ones back then to get into. So I'm not mad at it. But yeah, just as a caveat, I don't think we'd say it's the best 18xx, but it's the highest ranked on this list because of its ability to like bring in people into the genre and what it means to us as a group. So there you go.
100% agree. Okay, so in 16th, this game ranked 506 on Board Game Geek. Personally, it would not have made my top anything, but this is about, it's a 1v1, and it's about colonizing and fighting for domination in the 17th and 18th century French and Indian wars.
Oh, a few acres of snow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. I love that game. How can you hate on it? What was it ranked? I'm sure it was higher for me. You want to tell us?
Yeah. So you ranked it 13 and Ipo 46. So it just made the cut.
13's high. 13's high.
13's high. But still, what a game. What a game. Yeah, what a game.
What a game. It's incredible. And a lot of the issues that were there in the first editions, like the Halifax hammer, were kind of like made solved in the second edition of the game. So I would recommend the second edition because you're not able to store certain like you can't store location cards, only combat cards, so you can't like prepare the perfect attack. So the whole issue with the Halifax Hammer went away. The game itself is a beautiful deck building game that sort of focuses on combat, but you can focus also on expansion and exploration and sort of defend at the same time, because you always have that Achilles heel of your main city being taken. So you do have to have some sort of concentration of defense. But I love it. I love the game. I love the siege concept. I love how quick it is. It's a short game for what it gives you. And the way that sieges work over multiple rounds and the impact of them, it's just you feel good about the game. It has different like sort of, I don't know the word I'm looking for. It has momentum. The game moves between times of, relative calm and times of intensity and nerve-wrackingness. And all in all, it's really great for a game that you can play in an hour and a half, and it's rather spectacular. So I love the game. I don't think I need to defend him. Martin Wallace is a genius. Few Acres of Snow was my number 13, but our number 16.
Elias, when you say second edition, you mean there is a new edition by different publisher?
No, that's the one we had. That's the one we played. The one I have.
Okay. Do you know anything about Mythotopia, which is another Martin Wallace's game that allegedly, according to Board Game Geek, re-implements A Few Acres of Snow?
Yeah, it's Hamad has it. So if you wanted to play it, he has it. He got it at Essen, I think. I have A Handful of Stars, which is the 4-player version re-implementing A Few Acres of Snow set in space. And I've been dying to get. That's another one I keep taking with me on all these trips, hoping to get it played, but it never gets played. But that one's top of my list to get played. And I don't know if it can dethrone A Few Acres of Snow, because the simplicity of A Few Acres of Snow is one of the best things about it. But I'm going to give it a shot. So, yeah.
I'm excited to wait for a review for this. I'm really excited. Okay. Amazing.
Dima, we don't need to hear your thoughts on this one. We can go to the next.
But wait, is this like Few Acres of Snow? It's about Canadian history, right?
Yes.
So is it like more popular in Canada? Do you feel like many
Not at
people
all.
have the game?
But I will say
Nobody
that
knows
when I
about
did my citizenship test, there were questions about it, which I knew the answer from playing A Few Acres of Snow. So there you go. And yeah, that's all I wanted to say.
Okay. So in 15th place, another coin game, ranked 665 on Board Game Geek. It ranked a bit lower for Elias at 15, but ranked higher than A Few Acres of Snow for Ipo at 37, where you play as one of 4 factions vying for control of Cuba.
Cuba Libre. What is there more to say about Cuba Libre other than it's brilliant? It's, again, same way that 1846 is sort of the intro point for 18xx. I would say Cuba Libre is the intro point for coin games. And now I have like 5 of them, but it's a great system. The irregularity of it. It's got a small, easy to navigate map, which makes it great for beginners. And it's fun in the sense that some of the factions are like the mafia, who are trying to establish, casinos and maintain their, the Lasky mafia and stuff. Lansky, I think. But also just the number of stories that come out of this game, just like me playing the government. We've never seen the government win. I'm about to win this game. Nobody can stop me except my partner, who was Byron at the time, who's playing the mafia, the Lansky mafia, decides to basically blow Havana up to stop me from winning the game. And it's just there's just so many things that happen in the game. There's a natural storytelling progression, and the coin system itself, if this is a discussion of the coin system is one of the best mechanics I've ever come across, which is the card order system event and using the table to do the sequence of events and eligibility. I'm not going to try to explain that here, but it's wonderful and it's a puzzle to be solved. And this is maybe the best intro point to coin games. So I'm happy to see it make the list at 15. Ipo, your thoughts?
I want to say Cuba Libre introduced to me asymmetry before it was cool.
Before Root came out. Yeah.
Exactly, yes. So people are so amazed about Root, which is an amazing game, I agree. But I think Cuba Libre makes that in a better way, in a more realistic way, maybe. And it's an amazing game. I have no words for it. Somebody needs to experience, because as you say, the mechanism of a coin game is not intuitive at all, and somebody needs to play the game at least 2 times, I would say, before realizing what's going on or how the game is played.
Yes and no. I'll push back a little bit, and the reason is I agree. When I first saw the table, I was like, I don't really understand this. But after playing it a couple times, even when I went to play Vijayanagar, which uses the coin table system, I hadn't played a coin game in years at that point. And I put it on the table and I immediately understood it. So I think once you understand it, it's just there. It's one of those things like riding a bicycle. Like once you learn how to do it, you don't need to like relearn it from the fundamentals up again. And I think that's great. I don't think easy to learn is necessary to make good design. It helps, but I think good design is once you understand it, you understand it. You don't need to constantly relearn the basics of it.
Yeah. I didn't say it as a bad thing. Yeah.
Okay.
So Cuba Libre, like riding a bicycle.
In Cuba.
Okay, so the next game ranked 14th.
Sorry, Dima, did you have any experience with Cuba Libre?
Yeah.
But you didn't want to say anything about it, okay?
The thing is, my most recent experience was an unpleasant one. So I think the first time I played it, I was the students. But then the second time, I think I was the police and Basil was the...
No, Basil was the government and you were the casino. The mafia.
So, unfortunately, similar to the Byron story, Basil decided to backstab me and handicap me, and it didn't sit well with me. And the reason it didn't sit well with me is I don't think he won the game. Did he in the end? Yeah. So if you're going to handicap your partner to win, by all means, go for it. But if I don't see like the goal behind it, it's infuriating and I will hold a grudge. So that's where I'm going to leave it. Honestly, it's a great game. And
so in that game, I won as 26 July, which is Fidel Castro's movement.
Yeah.
But Basil did win the next time as 26 July. But that was the one where Byron blew Havana up when when I was the government and he was the syndicate. So, sounds like a similar repetitive experience in that regard.
Yeah.
But yeah, for sure. One of the things in the game is you're sort of naturally positioned to ally, but you're not allies. That is clear. Like there are no allies in the game. Like Directorial will fight 26 July at some point. Syndicate will fight government at some point. It's just in the beginning, it's advantageous for you not to screw over that person.
Yeah.
But at some point,
individually,
you have to fight.
You won't be able to win if in the beginning you're not helping each other. So you need to start sort of united to help each other sort of get past the middle mark, be a contender to win, and then free for all.
Which is such a nice concept if you think about it.
It's brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah, that you start, you
And
have
I
another
wonder if
player
it's
that
similar to
you kind of have
Pericles.
the same
I've
interest,
never
but
played
not really.
Pericles, but from the description you gave, no.
No.
Okay.
Well, Pericles, from the first round till the last round, when you're on the map, the war stage, the theater of war stage, you are like brothers. You love each other. You fight and die for each other. But when you are in the politics stage, you hate each other and you want to rip each other's throat out from round one to round whatever. That is the stage of Pericles. I don't think like it's a flow thing. It's more of like which part of the game are you in. That's with Pericles. So,
But Pericles is honest about it, so there's no backstabbing. There's front stabbing.
but yeah, this thing with Cuba Libre, it's the same in Vijayanagara. Even though Vijayanagara is a 3-player, it's based on the coin system, and it's very much about balancing who you're going to be fighting at any point in time. Like, and it's not just about fighting whoever's in front, because it very much depends on where someone is weakened, where Delhi is weakened, because it affects sort of like how many points that person will be able to grasp in the next few rounds. So I think that's kind of critical to those coin style games, is shifting weights of how much an alliance matters to you. So, yeah.
And it's a heavy determinant of the winner. Because if you let the balance shift too much in one direction, if you're too focused on one thing, it'll tip the curve too much. So, okay.
Oh my God, I want
14th,
so much to play Cuba Libre now.
we did convince our group, so everyone's on board, but we just have to find a time. Okay, so in 14th, I personally despise this game, and I think it's because of how much you guys liked it and insisted on playing it every Tuesday for God knows how long.
I know what it is.
And
is it something we're going to be playing later today?
Yes. And just FYI, I made my notes last week. It was ranked 1,172. And since then, it dropped 2 ranks on BGG. It is now 1,174. It is Zendo, where players build structures to try and figure out the moderator's secret rule. And I just have a question to ask you. The word Buddha nature, is that part of the game, or is that something that you guys made up? And
it's from Ipo's copy, the first edition. The first edition says Buddha nature. The second edition, they try to take away sort of the Buddhist theme and just leave it as like a purely abstract, inductive reasoning game. But I couldn't stop. I just had to keep saying Buddha nature.
Does it have a Buddha nature?
But Buddha nature is a real term from Buddhism and Hinduism before that, because Buddha is the 9th reincarnation of Vishnu. But the idea that something has a Buddha nature is kind of like a description of, is it true? Does it have truth to it? So that's where that comes from. But yes, it was in the first edition, but not in our edition, Dima. So
interestingly, you both rated it very similarly. So it ranked 22 for Elias and 23 for Ipo. So very, very similar rankings. This is the first one that's that similar.
After all that talking, Ipo, it turns out I like it more than you.
Yeah, again. I love all these games. I have a story about Zendo. Zendo is this abstract game where you're trying to figure out what's the Buddha nature, what's the rule that defines the Buddha nature. And last Tuesday I was playing Steam with some other friends, and some people took my copy of Zendo and they started playing, like 6, 7, 8 people. I don't know how they played this. It's not supposed to be played more than 6. But anyway, everybody was having fun. They were enjoying the game. And then this girl comes to our table, Danya, and she was looking at us playing Steam, and I say, why don't you play Zendo with the other? Why don't you play with the other guys there? And she says, oh, they're playing this horrible game. The one with the pyramids. And this is Zendo, I feel like. I now have a list of 3 people in my group that hate the game, but everybody else loves it.
Yeah, some people are wrong, and it's okay to be wrong. Like, that's fine. There's nothing like Zendo. It's just, so the basic idea of Zendo, Ibo touched on, and we've talked about it a bunch before, but you have a rule and you have to create structures that one shows the rule to be true, one shows the rule to be false. And then your students, or whatever it's called in the game, are going around trying to create structures, and basically you will figure out if it has a Buddha nature or not. And they want to figure out the governing rule that makes a structure have Buddha nature. And it scratches the brain in a weird way. And the thing that gets me is like, so in party games, oftentimes the best part about it is when you forget it's a game and you're just enjoying the social aspect. Zendo not being a party game, it still has that. So with Zendo, at some point, very early in the game, everyone forgets about the fact that they're trying to win by getting the most points. Mm-hmm. Everyone forgets about guessing cubes. Everyone forgets about turns. And people just help each other to try to figure out what the Buddha nature of the structure is. And you're just trying to do a team, and then you get it, and then you like high five each other, and you don't realize that the other person got the point and not you, because that's not the point of the game. The joy is in figuring it out. And that kind of sort of natural social structures, that natural social storytelling that it creates is wonderful, and it's rare. And that's what makes Zendo so good, because it does it with a bunch of children's blocks, and it's really brilliant.
I think that's a great comment, and I think only 2 games I have experienced having this thing that at some point you don't care anymore about competition, you just want to figure out the puzzle. And I won't say what's the second game, because I feel we're gonna find it today, later.
Excited to find out. All right, Dima. Enough with the hate on Zendo. Okay, we get it. You don't like it. It's good.
It's all good. It's not my top 50. So Zendo in 14th place. Okay, so interestingly, we had a 3-way tie for 11th place.
Wow.
The 3 games are...
Can you tell us, when you tell us each one, can you tell us what the ranking was for both of us?
Yes. Okay.
Right.
So Feudum, Elias, you ranked at 14, and Ipo ranked at 30. Okay. Wildcatters, Elias, you ranked at 31, and Ipo ranked at 13th. And Panamax, Elias, you
Wildcatters over Feudum, Ipo?
And Ipo ranked at 12th.
My God, Ipo.
What? Sorry, what was the last one again?
Panamax.
Panamax?
Oh, Panamax.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say, I find it very fitting that Wildcatters and Panamax are tied. I think that's fair, and I think that's because we both always kind of see them very close together. You see them as higher, with Panamax slightly higher. I see them as higher. Which one did I have higher, Dima? Wildcatters or Panamax?
Wildcatters, yeah.
And I had Wildcatters higher, which honestly depends on the day. I kind of feel like some days Panamax might be higher. So it's very cool. What I don't understand is how you could put Feudum that low to cause Feudum to be tied with these. Feudum is a superior game to both of these, which I love. They're both in my top 50. But I'm ready. Like, we both agree Wildcat and Panamax are great. But let's talk Feudum here. Feudum 30-something? Are you kidding? Feudum is a top 15 game. Like, I don't know. I can't with you right now. I can't.
Okay, so I love both Panamax and Wildcatters, and I totally agree with you. It probably depends on the day which one you want to play, and it really fits the concept. Now about Feudum, I think I have played this game once or twice.
I played it twice with you, so at least twice.
So it's an excellent game. I want to play it more to have a definite answer to your question. Why is it there? Basically, we played this game, I guess, 7 years ago or something like that. So
at least 5, at least 5-6 years, because that's
so my rating depends on that memory, because I haven't played this game after that. It could go, of course, higher. Yeah, I mean, I agree on that. And I have the best memories. That's why it's in my top 60. But I can't reply on why it's there. Yeah, I don't.
Honestly, when I saw these 3 games tied, I had to think a lot about how I would rank them, because
you are our tiebreaker. So if you,
like, in terms of replayability, that's what I struggle with Feudum, is that as much as I like the game, if I didn't have you, Elias, in the group willing to learn it and teach it to me, I would never play that game again, because there's the game mechanics, but then the individual player actions that you can take. I think there needs to be a balance between how much, and we talked about it recently when we played Too Many Bones, putting too much in the game and finding that balance where at some point as designers you need to draw the line where
that's
it
a fair
can't
criticism.
be too heavy that people feel a burden, because they're going to have to sit through an hour and a half of game explanation before they can start playing the game.
That's very fair.
And
it's very fair.
Panamax is the exact opposite. It's so elegant in the design. It's so streamlined that it flows. You can easily explain the game, and it's so replayable. So Panamax is the opposite end, and Wildcatters for me is a middle ground between the two. So Feudum, if you can take the time to table it and you have the time a whole day to kind of teach people the game, and then have that same group play it again a few times, then it would rank the highest for me. But in terms of replayability and I would rank Panamax at the top, and Wildcatters is kind of the middle.
So you're going to have to actually give us your actual breakdown, because I know you gave us 2 potentials, but we don't live in a quantum state. So you're going to need to give us your actual rankings of them. But before you do, I just want to say some things. Because we kind of just went straight into the argument and not actually talked about it. Panamax is a brilliant game about shipping through the Panama Canal. It's really terrific. I love the system. The reason it ranks so highly for me is the movement of the ships through the locks and the different lakes. And I really find it great. And I love the constant tension in the game of if I don't get this to a place where it's cheaper, I'm not going to be able to afford to hold all this storage in the game. And it's got a constant tension. It's constantly got something that you're worried about and trying to resolve. And at the same time, it's got a beautiful board with beautiful mechanics, and it's a great way of using dice. Hats off to this game. Wildcatters, the thing that I think won us over the most, 1, it looks amazing. 2, the game, it's not so much like Panamax. There's ships and there's all sorts of things, but it's kind of more of an area control game than anything, but area majority game, but the majority being in different stocks. But what I really enjoy about it is the fact that other people can deliver oil from other people. You can deliver oil to different refineries. So I've always said this, it's the most interactive Euro that I've played. And it very much, you have to sort of use other people's infrastructure. And that's my favorite thing of the game. But Feudum is special because Wildcatters and Panamax, I just described games, and I described essentially economic Euros to you. I can't describe feudum like that. A feudum is there's dice in the game that never get rolled because the dice are actually action pawns that take on the different characters that you bring out on the board. The game it's one of the heaviest games. As Dima said, it's unbelievably annoying to explain this game because one card can be used like 13 different ways. One of the cards, like it's kind of insane. But the thing about it is you walk away from the game and you have stories about stealing somebody's submarine and leaving them stranded on an island while twirling your Victorian mustache. You have stories about monsters and sea monsters that you had control of. And the core of the game, the thing that I've never seen replicated, is the guild system, which is the heart of the game. Despite the maps, despite the cards, the game is in the guilds because there's 6 guilds wrapped around the table, and each one, depending on its position, based on what you've done on the map, you'll either be the head of the guild or the journeyman of the guild. And each guild has a unique push and pull action from the guilds to its left and right. So depending on what's happening on the board, you have different stature in different guilds. And depending on that, you move the game forward in different ways through these push and pull actions. And I've never experienced anything like that. I agree there's a bit too much in it. It was his first game. And it could have used a few more passes with somebody like shaving off some of the extra bits. But it's a magical game. And when I play it, I feel elevated. I feel like the hobby of board game has been elevated in feudum. Whereas with the others, I feel like they're very good games. But with this, it's different. It stands out. And to the point that I backed his other game not even knowing what it was about. I just backed Fled because it's Mark Swanson. Is that his name? I think so. And I just adore it so much that I had to. So that's my opinion. I don't have a problem with any of these being higher than any others, but in my opinion, feudum is on another level from these other games. So despite it being incredibly annoying to teach, once you play it, the experience of the game, not the learning of the game, but the game, is miles better. So that's why for me, feudum is where it is. But whatever it is, I'm happy that it's right here at the edge of the top 10. So
how many times have you played feudum, Elias?
I just think 2 or 3, honestly, not that many. But it will always stand out in my mind. I've been trying to get it to the table. I think I have buy-in for this cottage trip next month, or November rather. I think I have buy-in on the game. So I think feudum is going to get played. So I'll report back on it. Maybe I was completely wrong, but I don't think so. I've rarely experienced those feelings in board games. So.
I think you explained well enough the interaction and how important it is in Wildcatters. And it's one of the best games just because of that. But I feel also Panamax has the same concept where
it does.
You move ships of that carry your stuff, but also other people's loads and cargo through the Panama Canal. And also when you're pushing these ships, they're pushing other ships that may carry cargo from other players. So it's just a complicated puzzle that it's funny and at the same time interactive. And I think that's the reason we feel that these two games are it's fitting being at the same spot in our ranking.
Looking at it now, I'm a little heartbroken. I'm realizing that Container didn't make the top 50. And I just want to say that those are the 3 games that I feel are the most interactive Euros. Panamax, Wildcatters, Container. And of those 3, I think Container is the best, if the simplest. But they're wonderful games. So I just want to shout it out because it kind of fits here, if in my estimation, slightly better. But yeah, everything you said is true. Panamax is an extremely interactive game, just like Wildcatters is. They're both very, very interactive. So Dima, can we get an official final ranking of these 3?
Okay, so my official final ranking is feudum in 11th, Panamax in 12th, and Wildcatters in 13th.
I like it. Well done. So did I sway you? I feel like I swayed you.
Feudum, like you said, the elegance of the guild system, the way you feel after the game, the impact that it has, it wasn't comparable to Panamax and Wildcatters. If you exclude how difficult it is to actually table the game, Feudum wins the tiebreaker. For Panamax, it's the streamlined piece, like the design. That's what made Panamax like rank higher than Wildcatters, even though Wildcatters is a great economic game.
And that's what's funny. Is today, if you ask me today, I'd pick Panamax over Wildcatters because right now I feel like playing Panamax more than Wildcatters. But if you ask me when I made the list, I ranked Wildcatters higher. So those two for me are very much the same spot, essentially. So I'm happy to see them tied up. So,
I want to say how easy it is to bring a game on the table is an important quality of the game, and it shouldn't be ignored. So,
no, I agree.
Yes, so maybe that's a reason to have Feudum there and not.
Well, if that's the case, we need to drop hegemony from the list, because over here we've been trying to play hegemony for 6 months. Like, it's just not, like, I can't just say that. Like, Virgin Queen might get to the table once every 3 years, but it's worth it for me. If Feudum gets to the table once every 5 years, that's enough for me. So it depends on the game. You know what I mean? Like, we're talking like, oh, I've been playing Panamax and Wildcatters, but look, let me tell you, the last time I played Wildcatters or
4 years ago.
Exactly. So Wildcatters, the last time we played it was 2018, and the last time we played Panamax was 2018. So we haven't played those games I need less games. So
I think I was trying to do the opposite point, that when we rank a game, we take into consideration that aspect of how long you need to explain the game and teach the game, and how is it to put it on the table. And in spite of that, Feudum is up there.
That's true. Yeah. No, if this game was elegant to the point that you could explain it in 20 minutes or less, this would be a top 3 game for me. But it's not. So that is weighed into it. The complexity, because especially me, as the person who always teaches Feudum, it's very much weighing heavily against it. And even still, it would be in my top 11 or 12. So
maybe in the future, where people get injected with knowledge and game rules.
That's right. What's Elon Musk working on? That stupid brain chip thing. Yeah, just download the rules for Feudum. All right.
Yeah.
Perfect.
How amazing would that be?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That would be really cool, actually.
Okay, right. So drum roll. We're at our top 10. Okay, so in 10th place.
Post-production.
This game actually ranked 2065 on BGG, and I don't know if it's because it's an older edition that I looked at, but it's about promising and cajoling your way to the top whilst running the East India Company.
Oh, you definitely looked at the older version, John Company.
Yeah. Maybe the newer version ranked higher because they cleaned it up a little.
It's ranked 272, the newer edition.
Yeah, so, that makes more sense.
Ipa, I'll let you wax poetic about John Company.
Yeah, do you want me to tell you what your rankings were for this?
Can I guess for Ipa?
Yes.
I think for Ipa it's top 3. So
yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Is it really?
And for Elias, it was 40. Yeah. I was surprised that you ranked it that low, honestly. I thought you liked it more than that.
I really like it. It's my 40th favorite game of all time. That's really high.
Like I thought you would rank it higher than
so high.
I thought you would rank it higher than Wildcatters, Panamax. That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I'm opening it up for you guys to share.
So the reason I ranked it so high, I feel, is because we played this game 2 or 3 times during the Board Game Olympics in June. And having played this game again and again within 1 month, I had people that had some experience in the game, and all of a sudden we could explore different strategies and see other things on the game that I have never seen before. And I think this is what pushed my experience and pushed my ranking on the game higher. It's a game, I think we have discussed this game in more detail in the previous episode. And it's about basically running East India Company, where each player represents a family and has a position in the company. So we all work for the same company, but we have different positions in the organization chart, and we benefit from different things. So there is this thin balance between negotiating with your superiors and your line managers and people below you, and today this guy is above you, but then the next day you are above him. So there are so many beautiful things that are happening and so many nice mechanisms, and we all had a blast the last 3 times we played the game, and I feel this is why it's so up high for me.
And if I could chime in, the reason it ranked lower than those games is because it's very luck dependent. And it's very luck dependent in the sense of not you roll your dice and make a decision. You say, I want to try to do this, roll the dice and hope for the best. And sometimes it's not even up to you how many times you can re-roll, because it depends on the budget you've been allocated. Based on just that, this game wouldn't have made my top 50. But recently, when we played second edition, our friend Alistair said something that really boosted it in my esteem, which he said that this game is more of a role-playing game than it is a strategy game, where you're taking on the roles of these families throughout their experience with John Company. And when he said that, I started to realize that, it's a story that's being told, and trying to be like, well, I rolled the dice and I didn't get what I want. Yeah, that's intentional, and that's part of the story. And sometimes luck plays a huge aspect in the success of a family and its colonization of another country. But the point is, like, after Alistair said that, it rose in my esteem. So it made that 40 on my list. Actually, that was a higher. The reason you think I like, because I recently increased my liking of it, Dima. That's why you thought it was higher. When we had played first edition with Ipo years ago, I just I couldn't get over the luck aspect. Like, I kept saying it's a good game, but I won't play it because the luck is too bad. But I think that this change in perspective really elevated it for me. And so, I'm happy to see it here. 10's a bit high, but it's top 3 for Ipo. So I'm happy to see his things that he loves being represented in the top 10 as well. So, John Company, what do you think, Dima?
Personally, in the beginning, when we first played it, I was a bit put off by the negotiation piece and that influencing people's decisions in the game. But the more I played the game, the more I realized that there's more to it than that. And there are certain strategies that people can take that, I guess, add more interesting features to the game. And every time we've played it, a different strategy was followed, like the last game with Chang and the military. And it's just, there's a lot more to it than just negotiation. And I've enjoyed playing the different versions of the game with different people at the table trying different strategies. So that I would give as like a positive asset to the game. That it's not just about who has the loudest voice or who's the best influencer. You can also have like a quiet strategy and then slowly tank the company and take the win.
It's true. It's true. In the last game we played, Dima's talking about, I had like complete control of the company in terms of shares, almost complete. But Chang took control of the military over time, and basically when he realized what was happening, he caused the company to fail by sort of instigating wars that we couldn't handle. And so when the company failed, I couldn't afford to pay our shares. So I get all these become negative points rather than positive points. So in that sense, I ended up basically being in last place because of how much control of the company I had. And that was a very cool thing to see unfold
Exactly.
in the game. So,
Exactly.
yeah. So like Lance just said, it's a story. It's almost like a role-playing thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right. Very cool.
Amazing.
Okay. So, in ninth place, I'm just going to break the surprise and say it's a PAX game. But also, what I'm going to say is you have 3 PAX games in your top 10. And I wanted to know if there's a PAX loyalty program that you guys should join, maybe, or because you both really like PAX games.
Oh, man. PAX loyalty program, I would be on there. If they had a monthly subscription where they were you could have access to all their games, I would be part of it. Like an Xbox Game Pass sort of thing. I would be on the Xbox Game Packs, if you would. So, yeah.
So what do you both think is the 3rd highest ranked PAX game?
Well, we know the top
10?
2. We know the top 2 for sure is Porfiriana and Renaissance. So the third.
So the third is PAX Pamir.
Pamir.
No, sorry. So, 3rd is PAX Renaissance.
No, Ipo.
So, interestingly, you both ranked PAX Porfiriana higher than PAX Renaissance.
Yes.
Okay.
That makes sense.
PAX Pamir tipped the curve because
Ipo,
you ranked PAX Pamir last of your 3, and Ipo ranked it highest of the 3. So let's start with PAX Renaissance. Since it's in 9th place, share your thoughts on the game. I thought you both really liked Renaissance. I was actually surprised that it was ranked the lowest of.
No. What was our ranking for Renaissance? I'd like it to be known. It's in my top 10. So
yeah. So Elias ranked it 9th. Ipo ranked it 32.
Jesus Christ, Hippocrates.
One of the best games of our times. Well, what do you want?
Okay.
Last time,
who would like
Ipo coined the phrase. Ipo coined the phrase. What did you say? Fun per time. What did you call it?
Value per
value per time.
Value per time. PAX Renaissance. You previously coined this, I think, or I did. One of us did in a previous episode. But value for table footprint. I think that
yes.
for PAX Renaissance, for the size of the box, especially first edition, versus how much table space it needs, versus what a game you get out of it.
Yeah, it's the best.
It's remarkable. So just to put it mildly for you, when we moved to Canada, we shipped all our games. But PAX Renaissance, I took in my suitcase because I was like, this is a tiny game. And if I need the itch of a very heavy game, there's nothing better. And Dima and I played it in our Airbnb in our first week here.
No way.
Yeah. So like for me, and it's only an hour long. It's an hour at 3 players. And whilst learning it is even harder than Feudum, because
2 days to learn, 1 hour to play.
2 days to learn, 1 hour to play. That's definitely a stepping. That's why it's not my number 1 PAX for sure. It's how hard it is to learn. There's just no game you can get as much game out of in 1 hour. It's just not possible. The Great Zimbabwe, that's the reason for me. It's one of my favorite games is because of it's a splatter you can play on a Tuesday night or a Wednesday night. But PAX, you could play at the airport. Like it's so easy to get out. So yeah, I love it. It's top 10 for me.
Okay, so I'm just grouping all 3 packs.
Wait. Sorry, are they all ranked next to each other?
There's one game in between, but
Then don't group
no.
them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So right now
PAX Renaissance.
we're talking about PAX Renaissance, right? So yes,
In
as Elia
9th
said,
place, PAX Renaissance.
Best value per cubic centimeter. So so I still remember the weekend we spent to learn this game.
The weekend.
But then,
and everyone, Ipo was living with us at the time. So it wasn't like a couple hours on the weekend. We mean the weekend.
Days of them
and
watching
I feel that
videos.
there's no other way. I don't think there's another way to learn the game.
Find a friend who already knows it.
Yeah, I couldn't do it by myself. I mean, I wouldn't have the stamina to do it and to stay for I don't know, and watch all these videos and try to understand what's going on. But then when we played the game, oh boy,
it was worth it.
Exactly. It really was.
I felt like you were solving an enigma for 3 days on end. And all I remember is like weeknights coming back from work, passing out on the couch, waking up. You guys are still watching videos, passing out, waking up. You guys are still trying to figure out the rules. Or like this was like a puzzle that you had to solve for 3 days just to learn the rules to then teach me the game and then play the game together.
But what a game, right? Do you want to, even you liked it?
It really was. It really was a great game.
Yeah. But now going to the PAX games, basically having played the second, or should I start talking about PAX?
Let's have an argument about this once we get to PAX Premier.
Oh yeah.
But, I think let's just sing praises for PAX Renaissance. Despite even all that other fact, it's hard to play. It's a pain in the ass. It's a heavy ass game. But it also plays very quickly. All of that aside, it's a great puzzle, and it embodies the PAX like shifting world very well because it's sort of a smaller footprint, but it's like all of Europe and very many different elements for religion, politics, and it's really brilliant. And it's probably like pound for pound per minute played, probably the best PAX game. But it's impossible to learn. Like it really is. It's the hardest game we've ever learned, and that's why it's not higher up. So, but that being said, our number 9 game of all time. So, yeah.
Okay, so moving on to 8th. In 8th place, it's ranked 167 on Board Game Geek. It's my favorite game of all time, and I'm gonna let you guys guess.
Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective.
It is so high. Why is it so high?
I love it. I love storytelling games. I love murder mystery. Turns out there's something called a murderino, where it's for people that like watching murder mystery shows.
Oh.
True or fiction?
What is the ranking?
So Elias ranked it 23. Ipo ranked it 17.
Oh, okay, close.
Oh, wow. All right. So none of us put it like top 5. Yes, it's amazing. We've talked ad nauseum about Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective. It's a living, breathing world inside each of these stories. It's the best written game ever. And it's a genuinely difficult puzzle to solve. And I really love it for that reason. And even when it goes very poorly, like the last time we played a demo was at the last cottage weekend. It was 1 in the morning or 2 in the morning when we started. So like it was not going to go well. We still talk about it to this day because Lucas, one of our friends, took us down a path where like he just decided that one of the things was the real mission and just started focusing on that. And we all forgot that there was an original mystery we had to solve and paid zero attention to it. for the remainder of the game. And then we got to the end, we're like, all right, we're ready to ask the questions. And they go, who killed this person? And we're like, oh yeah.
Wow.
We went down this rabbit hole.
Yeah.
And that
And
speaks
forgot
to the
the
fact that it's a
main
living,
crime.
breathing world. And the fact that there was enough meat on the side mission to make you
Yeah.
feel like it was the main mission. Yeah, like this game is brilliant. So
Yeah,
I said enough.
100%.
And
Yeah,
the
100%
whole
what
group,
you said.
they had all played it for the first time last year at the cottage. We lost. It was hilarious. And they're all looking forward to playing it again this time. It didn't deter anyone from the game, so that's fun.
Now,
Okay.
being the devil's advocate, I just want to ask, did you ever had a bad experience with the game? I feel it's much of a company game where if the group is the correct one, you will have a great time. But, I mean, could it be the opposite?
Yes.
We had one experience. We had friends over, and then Dima fell asleep after asking everyone to play it, and it was already late when we did. And then she passed out, and the others weren't super into it. So I just was trying to get to the end as quickly as I could. So, but it was still a hell of a mystery, and I solved it, and we all had a good time.
So I had a good time.
I had a good time, but I would say like that was the lowest experience as a group because I wasn't in the mood for it. They weren't in the mood for it. Dima pushed us all into it and then passed out 10 minutes into the game. So that was
So we know who to blame.
Yes.
that was the so even when it was bad, I enjoyed the puzzle, you know. So yeah.
Okay,
But yes,
great.
I agree. It's very much about hanging out with your friends and making jokes, and that's kind of the best part of the game. So yeah.
All
Okay,
right.
so in 7th, back to our PAX loyalty program. The second highest ranked PAX game in your top 50 is PAX Premier.
Too high. What are the rankings?
You ranked it 24. It was the lowest of these three PAX games.
I had four.
And-
I had 4 packs.
Yeah, you had, but
'Cause
these
I'd-
three, these top 10
Yeah.
games, you ranked it the lowest. And then Ipo, he ranked it 15th. It was the highest
Okay.
ranked of these three.
That's crazy.
So I was gonna say before when we were talking about PAX Renaissance that I still remember that the second edition of PAX Pamir made me a huge impression because it was a Tuesday night. I have played with you the first edition, and Vicky, my friend, she comes and she says, "I have the new edition of PAX Pamir, let's play it." And it was late, and I say, "No, it's too late. We cannot do that." And she says, "No, I can teach the game like in 15, 20 minutes. I said,
True.
no way, it's complicated and stuff. And she's teaching the game, and we played it that night twice.
Yep.
So that like made me a huge impression. And
The second edition
And
is
it-
super streamlined for sure. It's
yes, so
and the components make it a lot
compare
easier to
this-
play as well.
So compare this to PAX Renaissance, and
Well, have
You
you
have
played
this-
PAX Renaissance second edition?
never.
Yeah, there you go. So how do you know?
Still waiting for. Do you mean the big box?
Yes, which would remove our victory for cubic centimeter. But yeah, no, PAX Runner is great. It was my 24th for a reason. It's a great shifting states game, and it's probably the best entry point. That's not true. I think Viking's a better entry point for PAX because it's lighter. But PAX Premier is like the next place you'd go. The two big boys are Porfiriana and Renaissance at the moment. And Emancipation is kind of its own thing. I don't really consider it the same as the other PAX games. It could almost not be a PAX game. But Premier is excellent. And you're right. The second edition, I got rid of my first. Kevin took it. The second edition is just, it's gorgeous. And the components make the game easier, literally. Like they've made, and the graphic design on the cards which I know is a big issue for you with Porfiriana and Renaissance. That plus the components make the game much more playable. And because of that, it is my most played PAX game, despite being the third of these three and third out of my four top ones. So I'm not going to complain too much on it. I will push back a little bit that you put it the highest of the three. At least second, third would have been more of an, in my estimation, but you must value accessibility more than I do, because but it's very good, terrific game. It has all the feeling of PAX that you need in a PAX game with much less time and much easier to learn. So yeah, good stuff.
Are we going to PAX Porfiriana now? Because
Yes,
I wanted to
Only
say
one way
that
to find out.
So number 6
because
is PAX
Yeah,
Porfiriana.
So I wanted to say that so at that point probably I valued that Pax Pamir was easier to play, but now the last 2 months I have played Pax Porfiriana so many times, and now it's easy for me to teach the game to new players that have never played a very heavy game before, and I realize it's not such a burden for Pax Porfiriana. So maybe today I would have put like Pax Porfiriana higher, which is still an excellent game.
I think the reason it was so hard to learn the first time is, as you always say, the graphic design is horrendous, and like you need to actively know what you're doing and then look for the icon. You know what I mean? The icons don't help you understand the game. Rather, they're just there to verify what you already know. Whereas in PAX Pamir, they made it super clear. And I think if this game did get a second edition, it would go even higher. But yes, for me, it's the best. I think it was my number 2, my number 3, Dima?
Yeah, it was your number 2.
Yeah, I love this game.
I'm surprised.
Of all of them, for me, it is the most forgivable that it looks like this, because the theme is like the Wild West, sort of North Mexico, Southwestern United States. And I can imagine people, with this kind of like design and like, saloons and packs of cards. And it's just the most forgivable how messy it is of all of them. But I agree completely. The first time I played Pax Porfiriana or taught it, it was a nightmare. But right now I could pull the game out after months or maybe years of not playing it, and I could probably play like 90% of the rules without checking the rule book. So there is an elegance to it. And for me, it's the absolute best in terms of striking that balance between depth of strategy, time that it takes to play, and most importantly, it is the most chaotic PAX game there is. Yeah. And I love it for it. I love the chaos in this game. It's my number 2 game of all time. And my number 1 is Virgin Queen. So this is the highest ranked game left of those that I've talked about. So
one more thing I would like to say about Pax Porfiriana is that if somebody at some point, let's say we're playing 4 players this game, and somebody comes next to the table and asks, okay, guys, who is winning? There's no answer to this.
Don't know.
It's so easy to have a different regime in the next round, and somebody who's like dead, you think he's dead last, winning by that regime. And this makes the game amazing.
It's phenomenal.
There's always a way,
The best PAX game.
Amazing.
Okay, so that closes the loop
loyalty
on our
program?
PAX loyalty program. Okay, we've reached our top 5. Okay, so the top 5.
Okay.
All these games were ranked in both of your top 12. So they were all ranked within your top 12. In number 5, this is a game within. So there's an ice age approaching, and animals are propagating, migrating, adapting to the environment, and it's a little cutthroat, but not too much.
A little cutthroat. Dominant Species is muy tremenda. It's a beautiful game. And speaking of clarity, my friend Mo, everyone who knows Storysmith knows Mo. Mo was asking me the other day, what's the best rule book you've ever read? Literally, it was 2 months ago, maybe, or a month and a half ago. I want to write something in the form of a manual, and I need something as inspiration. And the only thing that came to my head was Dominant Species, because even when it happened recently. We played Dominant Species a few months ago. I hadn't played it for a couple of years before that. And first of all, I looked at the board and understood how to play it because of the display of actions. But also, I knew where everything was in the rule book before opening the rule book. It's laid out perfectly. It's explained beautifully. And I think Chad Jensen did a really, really great job. So the game itself is brilliant. It's multiple kinds of area control, and it's cutthroat. But at the same time, it's, you can see what the best action is, and people shouldn't feel targeted because you're not picking on someone. You're picking the best move for your species, and or rather your animal type. So I think people know all about Dominant Species. I don't need to ramble on about it, but yeah, it deserves to be where it is. So.
And at the same time, it's thematic. Like you have the birds and you can travel further. You have the insects and you have more population. And it's such a great game. And it can play up to 6 players, I believe, right?
It can. It plays 6 players. It's very good at 6. It's very good at 4. It's very good at 3. Those are the counts I think it's really good at.
Excellent.
Okay.
Excellent game. I always put it in my 3 games collection. If somebody must have only 3 games, I think Dominant Species should be one of them.
Could you give us our rankings on these as you go forward? Because now we're in
So Elias
territory.
ranked Dominant Species number 12 and Ipo 10. I would I agree with everything that was said. I would definitely rank it in my top 10. Okay.
Oh, that's surprising. Because you tried to flip the table once when we were playing Dominant Species.
I was in an irate mood and someone was telling me to hurry up on my turn. Which I did not.
Maybe she was playing the... She was playing the hippopotamus. So frustrated easily.
So in number 4, so actually your top 5, most of them are in the top 100 in BGG. So in number 4, this game is ranked 39 on BGG. Elias ranked it 10. Ipo ranked it 8. It is a game about strategically hiring and managing your workforce to outcompete rival fast food chains.
Great. Food chain magnate. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
The third best of the Splutter games. Yikes. I'm going to get attacked for that one. But for me, it's the third best Splutter game. We've already had Great Zimbabwe, which has been somewhere on this list. And I'm not going to talk about my number 1 because I have a strange feeling that it's further up on the top 3. So, Food Chain Magnate. I don't need to tell you why it's good. I don't need to tell you anything. It's a brilliant game. You already like it. All right?
The rest of the world agrees.
The rest of the world agrees. Who am I convincing on Food
It's
Chain?
in the world's top 50. It's 39 on BGG. So,
and guys, best theme. Who doesn't like a burger or a pizza?
I've been craving a burger like crazy. So yesterday I couldn't stop talking about burgers, and then I realized that I haven't had a burger since like more than 2 months ago at this point. And I was like, this is inhumane. This is masochism, what I'm doing to myself. So, and not a fast food burger. I want a proper burger with like fries and like at the plate. So like this is top of my list right now of stuff that needs to get accomplished. So yeah, who doesn't like a burger? I agree.
Also, Food Chain Magnate, last time I played it, 2 of the people in the table ordered the game after we played it.
wow.
From the drive-thru?
I'm kidding. So just saying.
Yeah, that if that's not evidence right there. Also, Food Chain Magnate is kind of like how we found our group here, because we were going to these game nights and we were meeting people. Some we liked, some we didn't. Didn't mesh with. Then one group we really liked. We were playing Irish Gauge, and we kept talking about Food Chain Magnate while we were playing Irish Gauge, and we were like, we definitely got to schedule a time sometime and play it. And then, like a week later, lockdown happened, and we didn't know anyone here. So then, after like a year of lockdown, once we started opening up again, I literally was like, you remember those two guys? I can't remember their names. I went on BG Stats and I had asked their names and I found their names. And I was like, I'm going to ask them if they want to play Food Chain Magnate. Worst case, they'll say no. So I literally find them on like meetup.com, Carol and Alistair. And I message them and I go, hi, you probably don't remember us. We played Irish Gauge right before lockdown. Would you like to play Food Chain Magnate sometime? And they both were like, yeah. And that's kind of how we found these people that we play with all the time now. So again, good story, good vibes.
And that was the beginning.
Great way to find friends.
Of a beautiful friendship.
Yeah.
So if you want friends, get Food Chain Magnate.
Correct.
Okay, so this is the final tie, actually. Yeah, so tied for second place, we have Leaving Earth and Antiquity. So Elias rated Leaving Earth 6th and Antiquity 4th. Ipo rated Leaving Earth 4th and Antiquity 6th.
I can't get mad at Ipo. Like, at this point, we're splitting hairs. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
These are the best 5 games ever. We've talked so much about these games. Like, what else is there to say? Like, they're brilliant. And Leaving Earth found new life for me the last time Mo came and decided to play the game just by gambling, just never testing anything. And just doing everything, just flying out with all the potential risk. And somehow he didn't win the game because he lost so many astronauts. But like he accomplished a lot, actually. And he had a ball of a time, even if his wife wanted to punch him in the face. And then when you put that next to Ipo's like super meticulous way of playing it, where we all do like 1 hour of math at the beginning of the game and then just enact our plans for the next several years. Both are great experiences and unique experiences from each other, and are both contained within this one game that has gorgeous graphic design and so much depth to it. I love the game. And Antiquity is the best city building game ever made. We recently taught it a few months ago to our friends here, and they both, actually, I think 3 of them have played it at this point, and they all love it. And everyone had asked for it multiple times. So it's a terrific one. You've heard me talk about these games. I'm gonna Leaving Earth, Antiquity. I'm not even mad at Ipo. That's great. Even though Antiquity is better than Leaving Earth, but I ain't mad at Ipo. So
I'm happy to say that Antiquity is better than Leaving Earth. I don't have any problem. It's an amazing game. Leaving Earth maybe is less dry, which is funny to say this about a game that you need to do some algebra to find your way through. So I'm not sure about it. And also probably Antiquity has better replayability.
I don't think it's dry at all, though. I think there's lots of charm in it, actually. But
no,
I do agree that
that's why I said less.
It's fiddly as hell. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. So I mean, if we must compare the games, then maybe that would be.
I'm not mad. But you do that. That's fine. I could toss them up. Depends on the day. So yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Completely
now
different
the most
games.
important question, Dima: which wins the tiebreaker? Oh, I think I know the answer.
What do you guys think?
I think Leaving Earth.
Living Earth.
You know me too well. You know me too well. Yeah, 100% Leaving Earth. I think for me, what Ipo said, like that innovative piece, it was different to sit there and do math. And then I'm not a risk taker. So I like to test things out and make sure everything is fail proof, since I also work in risk management. So it's part of the core of who I am. But then playing with Mo, someone who just freaking launched his ship into space without testing everything, and still made it through. I think I like the realistic aspect of the game, but the fact that you can just throw it all up in the air and say, you know what, I'm just gonna give it a try and potentially lose my astronauts and all my ships and lose the game.
But
Antiquity overall is ranked 382, and Leaving Earth is ranked 798.
I
but I want to say
disagree with the rest of the world.
I want to say Mo should be banned from playing Living Earth in such a risky way, right?
But
I
he
think we all agree on
didn't
that.
win. No, that was the best part, is that like he was doing essentially some horrible, like, all right, so for example, the last time we played, let me tell you, his wife, Erica, was like really meticulous, and she was going after the big mission. And just before she could do it, Mo just buys all the stuff, doesn't test anything, and just launches, right? And he manages to steal it from her, but he loses astronauts because he had no way of getting back, right? And when we tallied up the points, those astronauts, that karma came back and bit him in the ass because he lost the game. Erica won the game, and he lost because he hadn't factored in the safety of the astronauts. So he had a great time. We all got great stories, but he didn't win. It's not the best way to play, but it's his best way to play. And the fact that the game allows you to do that, despite the fact that it's insane, is great.
I would say it's also irresponsible.
I agree with Elliot.
To send
I
people
agree that the game lets you
to space.
be reckless to your own detriment,
Yeah.
but you can take that risk if you want.
It's a sandbox, essentially. And what I loved about it also, because you could do something that's not any of the missions if you wanted to. If you wanted to just go to Mercury and there was no reason to do it, you could do it. There's nothing stopping you from doing it in the game. It's a sandbox. You're not on any rails whatsoever. And my favorite part about the game is, last time we were playing, Erica really needed, I think, Saturn missiles from Dima. And Dima was like, yeah, you can buy it from me. And she's like, I will give you my entire budget, right? 25 million. Dima's like, okay, sure. She's like, but I'll give it to you next turn. I need the missiles this turn. And Dima's like, no, I don't trust you. So Erica goes, here's an astronaut. You can have him as a hostage, right? And I spent like 10 minutes looking through the rules, trying to see if that was against the rules. And there was no reason it was against the rules. So Dima kept the hostage. And then the next turn, Erica handed over 25 million and Dima returned the hostage. And that worked out. So yeah, it's great.
We house ruled it. Definitely makes the game infinitely better. But same, Antiquity is a great game. I usually end up with a lot of graveyards for some reason. I haven't figured out how to not do that. But yeah, no, it's definitely top 10.
Yeah. And that was another, sorry, I'm just waxing on about these games, but another thing with Antiquity, every time you play, because I played it a bunch, and then the last time we were playing it, not the last time, 2 times ago, Chang was playing it, and then we all just basically were like, okay, we have these resources next to us, we're going to go use those resources, like you just immediately start thinking. Chang immediately thinks, all the land behind me, I'm not touching it. And he just starts aggressively going after all the stuff that's nearer other people. And we're like, you have so much stuff behind you. He's like, yeah, but you can't get to them. So that's mine for later. And it made me realize why do we not do that every game? Like, why would we use our natural resources that are guaranteed for ourselves when we could just take stuff from other people? And it gave, again, a new dimension to the game. So even after all these plays, I'm still finding new dimensions and even great stories within it, especially Dima's Graveyard Cities, which he has consistently built in every game.
I don't get it. I still don't get
Just don't let people die. That's
I try. It's just at some point I just plateau and I just people just start dying. I don't know. So in terms of brain scratchers, I feel like they're both brain scratchers. Leaving Earth tips the curve for me a little because of the fun aspect and like that craziness that you can add to it. Okay,
I would like to say, sorry, Dima, about people that like space exploration and would like to try Living Earth. It was one of the very few good experiences with Tabletop Simulator playing Living Earth solo there. So you can try the game, and I had an excellent time. And then, of course, you can order the game if you want to play with more players. And I definitely recommend it.
Interesting. Okay. I guess you can practice doing well and sending astronauts out to space so that when you join the race.
Practice, I wouldn't put it like that, because I remember the time I played it solo, I was resolving equations for 1 week before starting testing.
So maybe it's a handicap.
I mean, I loved that week. I will never forget that week. It was one of the best experiences, board game experiences.
That's amazing.
Solo in my life, yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, Living Earth.
So before
we all know what number one is.
No, wait. Before we share the number one game, I'm gonna share this story. So when we were in Portugal 2 months ago, we saw Filipa and Ricardo, who are part of our original board game group. And one of the days we were at the park, and Elias goes to buy like these pina coladas that they were making in fresh pineapples. So he walks away, and then it's just me and Ricardo sitting on the grass. And then as soon as Elias is like 20 steps away from us, Ricardo looks at me and he's like, Dima, you know it, right? So what's the number one game? And I looked at Ricardo and I was like, what? God. Number one what? And he's like, the number one game, the top 50. And I'm like, oh my goodness, people are really waiting with great anticipation. Anyways, I did not tell him what the number one game was, even though he did guess. I tried to keep a straight face. But what we're going to do is, since everyone here knows what the number one game is, I'm going to count down from 3, and we're going to say it in unison. Okay? 3, 2, 1. Through
Virgin
the
Queen.
ages.
Virgin Queen.
Age of something.
You guys suck. I was really hoping for like a great grand finale. Thank you for ruining it. I'll open it up to the both of you. Elias ranked it number 3 and Ipo number 2.
Fair enough. Through the Ages, a new story of civilization. And we started from when it was a story of civilization. It's the best Civ game there is. It's great online, but it's better in person, in my opinion. Just because unless you're like Patsatsufis, where you download the log and read through the log of what everyone did to try to make sense of it, you can't really follow what other people are doing. So I like it in person. I have a much better win rate because I'm actually paying attention. Online, I just kind of do whatever I think is best for me, but oftentimes I end up not realizing that someone might be going for something. It's a great game that the more you play it, the more you realize certain things maybe you thought were optional were not optional, like building military. You got to do that real quick. But even though, and I have the expansion for it, thank you, Chang, for that. It was a beautiful gift. But even though the game is always played with the same deck, there is a myriad of ways that the game can go based on the order in which things come out, based upon the strategy that you're building with, based upon the leaders that you get and which wonders you combo them with. You're going to focus on different things. You're not always just going to go, oh, I go for high culture, whatever it is. Sometimes you might go for a conversion where you're getting a bunch of libraries and different knowledge things, which are then being converted into culture points. It also has this thing which I love. I always talk about in PAX games, which is momentum. And through the ages, it is wrong or not. I mean, it's not the best way to play to win, to start off by going after culture, because you will hard cap very quickly and people will pick on you very early. So it has that thing in the game where there's a moment. You need to pick a moment at which you switch from focusing maybe on science and military or whatever you were focusing on, building urban buildings, and just hardcore go after culture. And there is always that moment in the game for everyone. And it's not the same moment in any game that you play. And finding that sweet spot is my favorite thing in the game. So, full respect to it, and I'm glad a Vlada game was number one, because to me he is the best designer to ever design board games. So Through the Ages is a very, very worthy number one game of all time. And by the way, I did quick maths on this. After a joint over 5,000 plays of almost 1,000 games between Hippocrates and myself, we've now ranked Through the Ages as the number one game.
Wow. I think it's a title well deserved. And if somebody tells me that this is the best game ever made, I would say, yeah, probably yes. And when you said, of course, it's better to play the physical copy rather than online, you mean turn-based? Because
yes,
for me, if you play the game online, real time, thank you. Maybe it's better because it's kind of a fiddly game, and the first time I played it with Michelle, it was like 6 hours. Yeah. So of course, I guess if you play it again and again, it's gonna take less and less. But still, I have played this game, I don't know, like 80 times, something like that, online, and I still haven't figured out exactly a way or a path to victory. As you said, every time you need to do different things depending on what's going on, but everything in the end makes sense thematically, and also game mechanics make sense. And this is, I think, the beauty of it. And you're getting, I don't know, like Einstein, and you get more science, and you're trying to win that way, but somebody else will get Alexander the Great, and he will get more military power, and he can use it against you. And at the same time, they did this new edition where they fixed even the minor problems that the first game had. That at some point I didn't want to play the new edition, but then I realized, yeah, they just fixed these minor things that we were discussing, like the military, the war, or something like that.
Yeah, the way battle. Yeah, exactly. Aggressions versus war and stuff like that. So yeah.
So my only hesitation on this game is that I have only played the physical copy once in my life. I have only played it online, but the copy is also beautiful, and the pieces are well designed, and everything is perfect. So
I have a funny story with the first time I played it, Ipo. I just want a quick thing. Dima, Chris, Michelle, and I guess Diego, I can't remember who wanted to play the game. I learned the game, set up the game, taught them the game, and then didn't play because they were 4 players. So it was the original Through the Ages, which played 4. So I literally did all that work because I don't know what the fuck was wrong with me back then that I was like crazy enough to teach a game that I wasn't going to play. But I literally taught them Through the Ages, having never played the game myself. So I learned the game without ever having played it, taught it to 4 people, and then played something else.
Because you were so excited about it.
I was very excited for it. And I can't remember what I played. In my head, it says it's Argent the Consortium, I think. But I do just remember just being like, I learned this game and without ever having seen the components and taught it, which was insane. And when eventually I managed to play it for myself, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. But when I was teaching it alone, I was like, I don't get this game. It's kind of weird. But yeah, it's a
I'm gonna say
for sure.
at some point in your life, every board game should play this game, right?
I think so. I definitely think so. So there you go. Our number 1 game of all time.
Oh my
Dima.
God.
I think for me, playing it in person, the length of the game is rough. Like you really do need to dedicate a day for it. And maybe it's because of the group we were playing with, but both times I played it, it took a long time in person. Although I'm not a big fan of cards that give you abilities, because I tend to forget my abilities in games. And I don't use them, and then having
Then
to
that's not the
change
game for you.
and evolve over time and get different leaders, etc., that give you different, and then like building on each other on your previous cards. Like you need to follow like a similar strategy. In the beginning, I felt like it was a lot to grasp. But when we played it online, and then, so I played it once in person, we played it online for a little bit, and then I played it again in person, I enjoyed it a lot more. Playing it online gives you time to understand the game and think about your strategy and look at all the cards without feeling like everyone's waiting on you. Because the thing is, because the cards you select, it changes. Like you can't decide before it comes to your turn. And if you're not well versed at the game, you have to read the cards on your turn and make the decision on your turn, and that can increase the length of the game by a lot. So playing it online and then coming back to it in person really made the experience a lot better. And the more people like play the game, the more enjoyable it is. Yeah.
I want to say also, I just counted. Of my 28 plays of the game, only 4 have been in person. So it is definitely a game that we've played more online, but those 4 are my favorite 4. Like I because I feel more involved. Like I'm just never going to be the kind of person that reads the log of what people did in their turn. I'm not going to. So because of that, it's always been a slightly less enriching experience for me because I feel like I'm playing in a vacuum, and then once in a while someone attacks me, and once in a while I attack someone. But other than that, I'm kind of in a vacuum. So it takes away from that interactiveness because it is an interactive game. Anyone who says it's multiplayer solo is not paying attention to the game. So I think
not
it
using
feels more
military
interactive in person.
enough.
Well, if you're not using military, someone should attack you. That's the way this game works. Like, you shouldn't feel picked upon. If you are the easiest target, you will be attacked. That's the way that the point of this game with military is you don't have to be super powerful. You just have to keep up to make it difficult for other people so they can't pick on you. But the game is masterful. Again, like I said, definitely easier to play it online, but more enriching to play in person. But yes, it takes half the day. And, that's kind of the issue there, but that's the only issue with the game. So
I just checked, and I have played this game 82 times online.
Wow.
82 times online, 1 time in person. Is that what you said?
Yes.
So for me, it's only 28 with 4 times in person. So there you go. But Yeah, that's our number one game of all time. And I knew it was going to be the minute we decided to do this list. So coming as a surprise to nobody, the number one game of all time.
No, I was expecting Living Earth. Living Earth, to be honest.
I wasn't. I knew it was going to be this. I just knew like it's going to be in our top three, both of us. And like there's like,
Yeah, I
and
think
because
that's
Virgin Queen is in mine, yeah.
I think that's what Ricardo.
All in all, an excellent top 50, I believe.
Definitely. Dima, is there anything else you wanted to add before I take us out?
No, did you guys discuss what the ranking was on BGG?
No? What was it?
Do you want to guess?
Like
it's
2
in
or
top
3.
20.
Oh, 12.
19.
14. So pretty
All right.
pretty high up there. That's all.
Good, but again,
And-
not a factor in my. Yeah.
One last thing I wanted to say is after playing it online and understanding how the game works, because I had time to read the cards and figure it out, it is very rewarding when you build on like the previous, like what's it called when you like upgrade your government or whatever, and then you start upgrading your cards. It feels really good when you're able to have like a chain reaction.
Yeah. I actually meant, did you have anything to add about the whole top 50 before I take us out of the whole episode? I knew we were done with Through the Ages.
Just to say thanks for having me back, and if
you're you can be back every month if you'd like.
If you really want me to come back for a game show, give me like 3 months notice so I can have plenty of time to leave it till the last minute and then scramble 2 hours before the episode to prepare game show of the week.
1st of December it is, Dima.
Episode 60 will be a full episode of game shows. You heard it here first, ladies and gents. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for listening. This brings us to the end of the tabletop session. Thank you for listening and going along with this journey with us through the top 50. If you listen through 47, 48, 49, and now 50, you are incredible and we love you for it. Make sure to follow us on Instagram or on YouTube at Tabletop Sessions. Join the conversation, share a fun story of board game shenaniganism. Let us know what you thought of our top 50, especially these top 20. Let us know what your top 10, your top 20, however far you want to go. You want to go top 50, you go top 50, champ. All right, let us know all that over at Board Game Geek in our Board Game Geek Guild. And you can find the link to all of these in the episode description along with timestamps for everything. We'll be back in a month. And until then, to quote one, well, maybe a month. We've not been very good about that recently. But until then, to quote one of my favorite writers, God damn it, you've got to be kind. Say bye, Ipo and Dima.
Tabletop.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Tabletop top. Tabletop. Tabletop. Tabletop top.
Nicely timed.
Session.
And that's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap. Guys, I'm very sorry I need to go because Thaya is waiting for me to empty her room and go to bed.